Hey, what's up, you guys? MRJ33352, movie review time. Cesar Chavez, movie review. Follow me. I'm gonna read the plot to you guys, the plot of the movie, and then from there I'll tell you if it went exactly that way. All right. It's a little long, so here we go. The film follows Chavez's efforts to organize 50,000 farm workers in California, many of whom were manual labor workers from Mexico agriculture, Mexico agriculture, and required to return to Mexico if they stopped working. Working conditions are very poor for these people, the manual labor workers, who also suffered from racism and brutality at the hands of the employers and local California people, people around California. To help the workers, Mexican American Cesar Chavez forms a labor union as the United Farm Workers, UFW, United Farm Workers. Chavez's efforts are opposed sometimes violently by the owners of the large industrial farms where the manual labor people would work. The film touches on several major nonviolent campaigns by the UWF, Union Farm Workers, the Grape Strike, the Salad Bowl Strike, and the 1975 Modest March. Now, did the film touch on all of that stuff? Yes and no. Because the way the film started off, Cesar Chavez was already grown, if I believe. They didn't say like who his parents were or anything like that. The film was about an hour and 38 minutes long. So they just rolled right into him being a grown adult, him having a family. And I believe he started asking certain people questions about how much do they work for. And they told him like $1 a day or maybe $2 a day, someone had announced throughout the film. And how can I put this? The movie, like, he's seen that as a problem and he started doing something about it. I think his brother was his right-hand man. His wife was his right-hand woman. And with them two, he kind of got together with a group of friends and started something. Started something that required him not to be violent. See, Cesar Chavez went about it in a non-violent way, which caused a lot of people to join up with him. And because of that, he started creating some buzz and making some noise because they were blocking off streets. The work that they needed to do, because there was really one strike they focused on, and that was the grape strike. The grape strike that began in September the 8th, 1975. He started that. So once he started that, he started creating some noise because people started saying, is he for real? Is he for real? People were skeptical at first, but they started getting up off of their knees and started coming out the dirt or the trees where they were picking the grapes and started just joining up with him. And then the more they joined, the more... Because put it this way, when he first started, he was like in the back of the California page paper. Like last person on the page. Ain't nobody sweating him. Forget about him. But then as the more people he gathered and the more noise he started to create and the bigger the group got, he started moving up those pages. And before you knew it, he was on page 1, the front page. The news reporters were out there, and then, here come the tension, like that said, with the racism and, go back to where you come from. You are not our kind, and they just threw stuff at him. They hosed him down with gas. I don't want to give too much away, but it got a little violent at one point. Even the people that were with Cesar Chavez, they wanted to fight back, but he protested nonviolent, and it showed how he treated his groups, his union, when you did try to fight back. And it also talks about, throughout the movie, it also touches on one other thing that the movie that this didn't describe, the plot of the movie didn't describe, but they made sure they included that in the movie, is his relationship with his family, in particular his son. You can see the way his demise of him and his son, because Cesar Chavez either had to choose this union he was protesting with, and by the way, Cesar Chavez did something that the plot of the movie didn't also talk about, which was he fasted for almost 27 to 30 days, I believe, throughout the movie. Now, what I give the movie, I give it about a 8 out of 10, because they did leave out some things. They didn't say, like, once he got his way, and the Mexican Americans got their way back then, they didn't say, like, the legacy he left behind. They might have said a little something after the credits, but they really didn't put a lot of emphasis into it. They didn't even show how he was born. He mentioned it and said it jokingly in a conversation in the movie that, oh yeah, by the way, like I spent 5 or 6 years in the Navy. Like, they didn't really go into deep detail on certain particular things, like the legacy he left behind, Cesar Chavez Day that we have today, how schools and how he influenced people and stuff like that. They might have mentioned it briefly, and I'll tell you something else they brought up that's in the movie that the plot didn't talk about, is Robert Kennedy, how Robert Kennedy had his back. And back then, which was the 60s and 70s. And, well, you know how Robert Kennedy passed away because of that. And it touched on some deep stuff, but at the same time, they left out some stuff, And that's my take on the movie. This is probably the longest movie review I've ever did. But I remember Cesar Chavez coming up as a kid. When I'm a kid of the 90s, so, we touched on him a lot in my school, and he was a good man, a good non-violent protester who wanted to just make a little noise and get what was owed and due to his people. And he did just that. And it also touches on how people came from all over the state. They had a little scene in there where people started coming from all over the state of different creeds and color and started helping. And like I said, it also touched on a lot of bad things. So that's my take on the movie. That's how I feel about the movie. And subscribe if you like. Go check the movie out for yourself. And you might even enjoy it. All right. Peace. Peace. Peace.